Hey, this is Guy here again with KBTrainings, where I share with you a lot of the things that I do here in my lab, and it's just to help you prepare for your career, for IT, for anything that you like to do. I assume you like it just like I do. So today I'm going to show you how to install a virtual machine. I'm going to create a Windows 10 virtual machine in my lab environment. You might have seen my last video in which I showed you how I destroyed all my labs. So I had a huge lab for my CCIE preparation. I had not only the CCIE Pro for pretty much anything that I was preparing for. So I had some FortiGates, I had some firewall, Palo Alto, F5, load balancers, I had some checkpoints, I had a lot of Cisco's. So I had to destroy all of that to start from scratch. I also had some domain controllers. I had 2 domain controllers, Windows Server 2016. So I had to destroy all of that to start from scratch for you here on YouTube. So this is what we're doing. So today we're going to install a Windows 10 virtual machine, which will be our workstation. That's where I'm going to install Packet Tracer, GNS3. That's where we're going to use Vmware from. That's where we're going to do everything we have to do for our labs. So this is for everybody. This is for anyone who's preparing for the CCNA, CCNP, and so on, because I'm going to create a lot of content about those certifications. I'm personally going for the Enterprise Network Core at this time, the Encore. I'm going to create content for that specifically. I'm also going to create a lot of content for the new CCNA, the 200-301. So if you're preparing for that, subscribe, and we're going to get a lot of content here. I have actually a course coming on my on the website, so I haven't created anything so far yet. There's no page or anything, but maybe by the time you watch this video, the page is already up. So today is March 4th. So I haven't created it. You can go and check on KBTrainings.com/CCNA. That's where I'm going to put the content when they're going to be available. So that course will be free at the beginning for everybody. You can just go on KBTrainings.com/CCNA to enroll. But once everything is created and all the videos are ready, I'm going to put them behind a paywall. So you have to pay something to have access to those content. But for now, if you watch this and it's already up, you can go under KBTrainings.com/CCNA or KBTrainings.com/Encore, because that's where all the contents are going to be. So what are we going to do in this video? First of all, we're going to install the Windows 10 VM, and then we are going to test connectivity to that VM from my private network or my home network to the lab network. And the third thing is that we need to make sure that we have remote access to that computer, because that's going to be our workstation. So we need to be able to RDP into it. That's what we're going to do last. So before installing the computer or before creating the VM, you need to make sure that you have the image. The image is just a bunch of files that are system files and that are going to be installed on your hardware as the operating system. So you need to have that image. You can get it from Microsoft website. You can download it there and buy a license, so you can get it anywhere. That's not a problem. So I assume you have the image. So first of all, we need to go in our server. It's right here. This is our host that I installed in one of my last video. So you can see that I just have a single VM. This is the same computer or the same Windows 10 that we're going to install now, but this is the French version. As you know, here on KBTrainings, I create courses in French and English. So I just want to make sure that French folks have good content, quality content available for them. That's why I created this. So if you want to watch me speak French, every time I upload, there is always a French version and an English version of it. So you can have the same message in both languages if you speak both. So before installing your VM, you need to make sure that the image is already in your storage. So this is the image that we're going to upload in ESXi. It's right here. So we need to go under storage, and for the French version, I already created this directory here. So we go under browse data store, and under storage I already have this directory named ISOs, because all the images that I'm going to be using are in the ISO format. So I have this already. So this is the French version. I think I'm going to delete the English version. I don't like this one. I'm going to upload the one that I have. So we click on upload and we go under images and I grab this. So it's about 5 gig. It's gonna take a while to upload in this server depending on your depending on your speed. Let's give it a moment and we'll be back when this is uploaded. So while it's uploading, let me show you what our design is going to look like. So this is what our design is going to look like. I already installed the French version of the Windows 10. So right now I'm installing the Windows 10 English version. And after that, I'm going to install a GNS3 VM, and then I'm going to finish with the Viral VM as well. In the Windows 10 workstation, I'm going to install Packet Tracer and GNS3, of course. This is where we're going to do most of the job. But this is just for the beginning. We just have 4 VMs, but after a while, we're going to have 50 VMs here. All of that will be on this channel, so make sure you subscribe. So when we go back to our host, we see that the image is still uploading. We can go ahead and create a VM already. We're going to link the image when the upload is done. So we just click on create new VM and create a new virtual machine. We click next. We can give it a name here. I just name it KBTrainings. I don't need to do the EN because my main language is French. I mean, it's English, or I can just do the EN just to be fair. So what is compatibility? I leave it at 6.7. OS, I choose Windows. What version of Windows? It's going to be Windows 10 64 bits. I don't have to enable virtualization, security and everything, so I click on next. So it's asking me where I want to save this machine. So I'm going to put it in the SSD 1 terabyte and click on next. Maybe I should put it on different disks in case I lose this one, so I don't have to lose both. Okay, I'm gonna put it on the SSD 0.5T and I click on next. So this is where I choose all the components of my virtual machine. Here for the CPU, I choose 4 CPUs, which are 2 sockets with 2 cores, and that's going to be enough for this computer. So the memory or RAM, I'm going to give it 12 gig of memory. All right, so this is random memory, so I gave it 12 gig, and for the hard drive, I'm going to give it 100 gig. It's going to be enough for it. And just make sure that you choose thin provisioned, because this is not going to reserve that space on your disk for the VM. However, if you choose thick provisioned, this is going to already reserve the 100 gig for this computer, and no other VM is going to use it on this host. So I'm going to use thin provision, and that's it for the hard drive. All these controllers can stay. USB, I don't really use the USB controller, so I can remove it. We are going to have 1 network adapter for now. We may add more in the future if we have multiple networks, but for now I'm just going to leave a single NIC. And for the disk, I'm going to link this to the I'm going to link this to the OS image that I'm uploading, but right now it's still uploading. It's at 94%. Maybe I can wait a little bit so I can just do it at once and I don't have to get back to it again. All right, so I can see that the image is uploaded. So I'm going to click on the CD/DVD drive, and then click on data store iOS file, and then I'm going to navigate to find my image and click select. So this image now is linked to this virtual machine, and I click on next. On this page, we just need to review all the components we choose for our VM. Everything looks normal, and I click on finish. That will create the virtual machine. You can see it here already, and all I have to do now is just power on the virtual machine and install the system. And you notice that we have an issue here because the system doesn't boot using the CD/DVD drive. So what you have to do is make sure that you shut down the system and go under edit setting for the virtual machine, and you go under VM options, and you select boot options, and make sure the firmware is set to BIOS instead of EFI. If you have EFI, it will not boot. At least in my case here, it didn't boot with EFI, so I had to select BIOS, And once you do that, you won't have any problem. So once you do that and reboot the VM, it's going to bring you to this page. And from here, I notice that I don't have access to my mouse, which is fine. Let's just proceed with the install. So from this point on, I'm just going to use the tab key on my keyboard, and that will help me through all these steps. And to fix this issue with the pointer that you don't see in your VM, you need to install the VM tools. All right, so now we have to select all the options for installation. The mouse will be available at some point after the install or during the install. So I can't see the mouse, but that's fine. So this is going to copy all the files and install the system. The system may reboot several times, but we'll give it a moment, and I'll be back when it's done. Alright, so after the installation, you're going to have this page. So I can use this to click on, yes, I'm just use the tab key here. And the keyboard, US, yes. Another keyboard, no, I'm gonna skip this. All right, who's going to use this PC? I'm going to say just KBTrainings, and go next. Create a super memorable password. Use KBTrainings. It's a lab computer, so I don't have to make it special. Security questions, damn. Okay. I need to answer some security questions. What's my first pet? The city, whatever city. Childhood nickname. All right, that's all. It's installing. Do more across devices and everything. No, I don't need all of this. Just click on no. Help you digital assistant. No, I don't need it. Google is already there. No, I decline. I don't know if any of you is using Cortana or whatever the assistant is for Microsoft. I usually don't use it. How can I cancel all these things? Yeah, let's just install it. Okay, so it's going to do all the things, and then it's going to be ready for utilization pretty soon, and we'll move on. All right, as I told you, because we are going to use remote desktop protocol to access this computer, I don't really mind if I don't see my mouse or anything, because under RDP, I'm definitely going to see it. So So under RDP, I'm definitely going to see it. So what I have to do now is just make sure that I have connectivity to this computer, and I can ping my private network, my home network, and then we're going to do the RDP. So let's get into the command line and see what the IP is for this computer. All right, so to be able to get to be able to use the pointer inside the virtual machine, I had to go on the VMware's website and download VMware Remote Console, and this is what you're seeing here. So I downloaded it, and now I'm installing it on my workstation that I'm recording from right now. So as soon as that's done, I'll be able to use the remote console and look at the command line and do all the other configurations that I have to do in order to get remote access to this virtual machine. So yeah, when you use the browser, sometimes you won't get the so when you use the browser, sometimes you get some issues with the mouse. But like for example, if I power on the French VM, you're going to see that there's no any issue with the mouse, but just the English OS is doing it all the time. So, but that's gonna be done because when we have our remote console installed, we won't have any problem with that. Okay, it's installed again. So this is the French workstation. You're going to see that I don't have any problem having my mouse inside. Oh yeah, I usually have this kind of problem because the keyboard is different when you type in French. So I'm used to the English keyboard, and most of the time I get the password wrong. So this is the French VM. We don't need it for now. So the English VM is here. What I'm doing is console using remote console. Yes. All right, remote console is coming up here. Always trust this host remote anyway. I mean connect anyway. Okay, command line, that's all I needed. What? I thought that was okay. All right, that's the command line. All right, so from here I'm going to run ipconfig. I can see that it has 10.0.0.32. Let me see if I can ping the remote gateway. Okay, we can ping the remote gateway. Let's see if I can ping my workstation, which is 192.168.254.14. I can't ping it, and I know why, because my firewall usually does this. So let's come here and disable the firewall for a few minutes. Okay, when I disable the firewall and do this, yep, the pings are going through. Okay, so now let me just make sure that we have the remote desktop activated on this. So I need to go to click on Microsoft, on the Windows menu, and look for allow remote connection to this computer. Click on enter. So once I'm here, you can see change setting to allow remote control this computer, show settings. All right, this is what I have to change. So allow remote control, and then I need to go down here and make sure I select this and unselect that so that any computer in my network can connect to it, and then click on OK, and that's it. So let's go and launch a remote desktop session. It was 10.0.0.32. All right, I can reach it now. I just need to put the right username. Remember me, yes. And we are in. So I just make I'm going to save this certificate so I won't be bothered by it. And this is the RDP session, and let's try to see if we are still having issues with the mouse. No, I don't think it's the case, because yep, the mouse is working just fine in here with the RDP. So sometime when you're using VMware, you will have that kind of issues. I read that you have to install the VMware tools. I think I did it for this for this computer. Let me just go under, because there was a disk that was inserted in this. Let me see if there's anything that I can install setup. Okay, so we are now installing the VMware tools. Let's see if that's going to change the status of the mouse, or actually not the mouse, the pointer. Oh, okay, you see it's installing all the drivers for the mouse and everything. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I must restart this computer, but first let's see if I can see the mouse. I still don't see it. I still don't see it, but let me just go and okay, let me click on yes to restart the computer and see if there's any change after the reboot. Oh, okay. Yep, it's working now. Great. So our mouse is now working. I can come here and increase the resolution of the screen. Let me bring it to the regular 120 1080. Yep, that's good. All right, that's it. So once you install the tools, I think when you install the tools, if you install them upfront, or yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, so that was it. We did the RDP, we pinged, and everything seems to be working normally. One last thing is that I need to make sure that, because I showed you what the topology looks like. So this computer is supposed to be a 10.0.0.3. So what I'm going to do now is go into it and make sure that the IP is set. The IP is set statically instead of dynamically, so that we won't have any problem with it. So this is the RDP. I'm logged in. So what I'm going to do is go under this network icon there and click on Ethernet, change adapter options. I don't know if you can see this, but if you want me to restore this, just let me know. And then go here, and I can just double click actually and come in under properties, IPv4 properties. This is where I put the static IP. The the DNS, we can still get the DNS from DHCP, or let me just use Google, because at some point I may change it to something particular, because in our lab we're going to build a DNS server. So click on OK, click again on OK, and that's it. So this remote desktop session, oh, okay, I think we should be losing. Okay, yeah, we lost the remote desktop session because the IP changed. So let's go with the new IP. I'm gonna close that and open a new remote desktop session, and change this to 3 instead of 30, and connect. Of course, set the right username and password. Okay, we have the certificate, which means we are connected. Don't ask me this again, and click on yes. All right, so we are in our new workstation. Okay, so what we're gonna do next is install packet tracer, install GNS3, install GNS3 VMs, viral VM, and all the other things that we need for our labs. So stay tuned, and this is the end of this video. Make sure you subscribe to get more content. I mean, to get notified when I post a new video on this channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much. My name is Guy, and have a good one. Take care.